So today I'm going to be doing another normie video where I rank layer 1s on a tier list. The main criteria I am going to be ranking them on is X gains, also known as multipliers. So the main thing I'm looking at is how many X's you're potentially going to make on these cryptos. And obviously, this is my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research before investing your money. So we've got all of these cryptos here, some of which are very well-known high caps, some of which are my personal favorites in the layer 1 niche. And we're going to be ranking them based on how much money they can make you, right? Now, this isn't just on the quality of the crypto. This is mainly on how much money they're going to make you, right? There's a lot that goes into ranking a crypto, but in this video, we're doing it based on X's. So let's start off with the first one, which is Algorand. And for me, Algorand's been kind of disappointing in the last year or two. Many people had high hopes for this crypto based on its scalability and its eco-friendly technology, and also the founder, but unfortunately it has been very suppressed. Also, something that does concern me with this one is it failed to make a higher high last cycle compared to its launch price, which is never a good look for a crypto. So if I'm going to be ranking Algorand in terms of X's, I would have it on the lower end, considering the market cap isn't low by any means. It's almost 2 billion. I would probably put Algorand around a 5x for gains. The next one we have is BNB, and this, despite many people not really liking it much, it still has a big ecosystem. It's still better than Ethereum when it comes to fees. But the main competitor I see to BNB is Solana, and it seems like Solana is growing in terms of ecosystem, whereas BNB isn't growing as much. So for me, Solana is going to overtake BNB at some point. So for BNB, I'm going to put it as a free X. The next crypto we have here is Say, and I'm very bullish on Say. 1.8 billion market cap. It's obviously not a low cap here, but for a new layer 1 with not the biggest ecosystem compared to obviously the giants like Solana and AVAX, Say has a huge amount of room to grow, incredibly scalable, and the exchange listings for Say are also very impressive. It shows the seriousness of this project. The VCs, the smart money, the institutions, they all love Say. And to be honest, I think this is a good kind of layer 1 that's centralized. I personally like my decentralized layer 1s, but if you're trying to go for that type of Solana killer layer 1, you want that kind of centralized VC backed layer 1, then Say is a very top choice when it comes to this. So in terms of X's for Say, I would be thinking around that kind of 10 to 30x range. So it is quite a big range here. I mean, if it does a 10x, you go into 18 billion. If it does a 20x, you go into more like, 30 to 40 billion. And if it does go to Solana's all-time high from last cycle, then you're talking a lot more X's, right? So I'm not betting on it going to Solana's all-time high from last cycle. I know a lot of people are, but personally, I would see Say around a kind of 10 to 30x, right? So less than Solana from last cycle. I'm not expecting it to overtake Solana anytime soon or even go to the 100 billion market cap range anytime soon, but it's certainly possible, right? So for Say, I'm going to go and put it in the 10x category just because 10x is the most applicable. I mean, if I had a 15x category, I would put it there. But it's more of a 10x, I would say, than a 25x. So the most suitable category for Say, I'm going to put as 10x. And bear in mind, by the way, at this point in the cycle, when a lot of things are pumped, when Bitcoin's at all-time highs, a 10x still goes a long way on your portfolio. If you've got a $1 million portfolio and you get a 10x, you're going to $10 million. If you've got a $10 million portfolio, 100 million is coming your way. So I know a lot of you guys aren't dealing with portfolios in that size, but it just puts into perspective how much a 10x is to some people. Next crypto we have, and it's very similar to Say in many ways in terms of that kind of VC centralized type of layer 1, and that is Sui. Sui is pretty good. I don't really have too much to say about it. I think it's a good layer 1. I know some people prefer it to Say, but it's just going to be interesting to see which one gets the upper hand, because right now they're very indistinguishable in terms of market cap, very close. So say Sui, they both have Binance, they both have Coinbase, they're both very scalable. I think maybe Sui has the better ecosystem right now. If you look at projects kind of using Sui as a network, I would say maybe Sui has the upper hand, but I'm not too well versed on this project in particular. I haven't researched it too much, right? So I am going to go and put Sui in that same category as, say, as a 10x. Okay, the next one we have on the list is Aptos, and I don't think Aptos is as bad as some people say it is. Now, I have joked about Aptos before and said that it's not a good project, but it's really not too bad. If you look at the tokenomics for what many people consider as a centralized layer one, 51% goes to the community. I mean, that's an incredible percentage when you compare it to the likes of maybe an Algorand or a HBAR, which is far less given to the community. Now, obviously, I look into these things pretty deeply when it comes to crypto, tokenomics, token allocation, and all of these things. If you don't quite fully understand what I'm referring to and the importance and significance of what I'm referring to, then definitely go and educate yourself a bit more. I do have a full video course outlining this. You can check it out in the description. And for those who maybe can't afford the video course and they want some extra help as well and they want to be in a good community, then my Patreon group is also linked in the description. So in terms of Aptos, where I see it going, it had a pretty big fundraiser round, which is always a good prerequisite for success as a cryptocurrency. So $350 million of funds at the fundraising round is incredible. You cannot deny how high that is. But since then, Aptos hasn't done a lot. I mean, it's kind of just hovering around that 5 billion range, which isn't low. I want to make that clear. 5 billion in market cap is not a low market cap. A 10x on this thing, you're talking 50 billion in market cap, which is higher than almost all of the layer ones from last cycle. The only two that would be higher than it really that I'm thinking of right now is Cardano and Solana, and then obviously BNB, ETH, and Bitcoin, more than two. But Aptos for me does have some potential, but it isn't one that I would personally be buying just because of how high the market cap is. So I'm going to go and say Aptos is also a potential 10x from here. So the next crypto we have is called SpaceMesh, and this is one which not that many people know about in the kind of normie space because it's not on any of the big exchanges, but it's getting a big amount of traction on the likes of Twitter and also in some Discord servers and things like that. So SpaceMesh gets a lot of appreciation from the Casper fans because of how decentralized it is. So SpaceMesh has a very interesting consensus mechanism where it's kind of like proof of work in the sense that it's very decentralized, but it's even more decentralized than proof of work because the barrier to entry is even lower. It's very, very affordable to mine SpaceMesh, right? You don't need a super crazy computer. You don't need an ASIC. It's very obtainable for the masses. And for that reason, SpaceMesh is considered by some as the most decentralized crypto, right? The people's coin, they deem themselves. Now, the one critique of them saying they're the most decentralized crypto is the fact that they were backed by Coinbase Ventures at launch, and thus Coinbase Ventures obviously have a bit of the supply. But that, to me, isn't really a major thing. In fact, it shows a sign of intent from serious investors around this crypto, right? So for me, the fact that Coinbase Ventures were interested in this and obviously gave them some capital, that fills me with confidence in the fact that they could potentially get a Coinbase listing in the future. Now, the reason why they don't have that many listings, in fact, they only have XT and BingX, is because of how decentralized they are. They don't pay for listings, okay? They don't pay for anything. They get listed fully based on merit. That's very similar to Casper, right? The reason Casper isn't on Binance or Coinbase is because they're not going to pay for it. They're going to get listed based on merit or by some sort of foundation or some sort of fund which the community create themselves. So I do believe that SpaceMesh will eventually get these listings, but it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. But I see SpaceMesh as a solid crypto. I believe it's around 100 million market cap, give or take a little bit. So a 50x on this, for me, It's possible. The next one is AVAX, and I'm very bullish on AVAX as a normie coin. I'm not bullish on it in terms of trying to get loads and loads of X's. I would say a 10x on AVAX is obtainable, but the market cap for AVAX is getting bigger. It's currently sitting at a 17 billion market cap, so a 10x on this is 170 billion. So it may be on the higher side. Put it this way, if Solana is going to 10x, that's 770 billion. I can't see that happening for Sol. But AVAX, 170 billion. Maybe Solana goes to 300 billion. It's possible, right? It's possible. But again, doesn't mean it's gonna 10x. This is just the most applicable category. I would say for AVAX, it's probably more of a 7x or a 6x, if I'm being honest. But again, 5x, 10x, somewhere in between if we had a category. So the next one we have is Ethereum, and it's pretty hard to fully say where Ethereum's going to go this bull run because there's a lot of people starting to look towards other cryptos as a layer one, such as Solana, but still a large infrastructural layer of the blockchain or kind of crypto as we know today is still based around Ethereum, right? The main way how Ethereum is going to be successful is through layer twos scaling it, and Ethereum just kind of acting as that secure infrastructural layer rather than the actual kind of smart contract layer. I imagine the main smart contract layers will be things like Manta, Polygon, Arbitrum, these types of things, but Ethereum is going to be that base infrastructural layer. Yeah, I'm still not too convinced about that idea. I think we could still have a base layer, such as a Solana or such as a Casper, come along and successfully solve the scalability issues that Ethereum has had. So I don't think this will be the bull run where something overtakes Ethereum, but I think next bull run it's very possible. So I'm not betting on Ethereum long term as much as I'm betting on Bitcoin. I want to make that clear. Ethereum has a lot of competition. It's still very bad when it comes to fees. It's extremely frustrating. Retail are never going to buy Ethereum-based meme coins when they can buy meme coins on Solana, for example. But with that said, we have got a lot of layer 2, such as Base, utilizing Ethereum. So where do I see it going? I would probably say somewhere between a 2 to 3x. So I'm going to go and put it in the 3x category. Now, the next one we have is Solana. Now, I don't quite think Solana has 10x potential just because of how much it's pumped. It's at a 78 billion market cap. A 10x on this would be 780 million. I think that's too high for Solana this bull run. But nevertheless, guys, I think it's going to smash its all-time high. We're probably going to see this thing do around a 5x from here, which would put it around that $200 to $300 billion market range. So Solana is going in the 5x category. Next up, we have Manta Network, and this is one which is very undervalued in my opinion. It's a layer 2 modular blockchain, but it's also a layer 1, right? So I've put it in this category because of the fact that it also encompasses the layer 1. They've got their Pacific and they've got their Atlantic, so they're kind of doing two different things at once. So this is the two kind of layers of Manta. You've got the Manta Atlantic layer 1, which kind of uses Polkadot. But then you've got the Manta Pacific EVM layer, which uses Celestia, right? And then obviously Ethereum for the EVM side of things. So Manta, I think, can 25x. I know it's pretty ambitious when some people are hearing this, but if you consider the market cap is 693 million, a 25x on this would still put it quite low when you consider some of the other layer 1 predictions that I'm making in this video. So Manta, probably around that 15 to 25x level I would expect, but there's going to be a lot of competition when it comes to Ethereum layer 2s, so it's not as guaranteed as some of the other predictions. Next up, we have Cardano. It's a normie chain, kind of slow to develop, but it's always going to be here, I think, because it's got a big community. It's not dying, but Cardano, I'm going to go and say that it's going to do a 5x. Next up, we have HIRA, which is another one like Algorand, which hasn't really moved too much in comparison to other layer 1s such as Solana. It's got pretty big listings, but the problem with this is most of the major catalysts have already happened. The main thing that I like about new cryptos, such as Casper, is they haven't already had all of these major listings occur, right? HIRA is literally on all of the biggest exchanges. What else now is going to pump your bags is my main question with this. Last bull run was, in my opinion, the bull run to obtain HIRA. This bull run, I don't think we're going to get as many X's as what maybe some people once thought. So I'm going to go and put HIRA in the 5X category as well. Now, finally, we have my favorite layer one, which is none other than Casper. This is currently sitting at a 3 billion market cap, right? If you want to learn more about Casper, I've made a ton of videos on my channel. Go check them out. I'm not going to explain it too much, but this is essentially Bitcoin and Ethereum combined, right? Super decentralized, but they're also going to be implementing smart contracts. I really believe Casper solves the trilemma, and they're going to eat up so many different projects once they do release their smart contracts. But even without smart contracts, Casper is cash. Okay. Problem with Bitcoin, we can't send it to one another quick, and we can't do it in a kind of feeless manner. Whereas Casper, they're allowing that to become a reality. This is the type of crypto you're going to use to buy your coffee with. And that simple crypto, just to use as a payment solution, cross-border payment solution, but also a local payment solution, still has not occurred, right? We still do not have a crypto which easily solves the currency side of things. We've got all these crazy things like for institutions and gaming and all of these different cryptos, but we still haven't solved the main thing that Satoshi tried to aim for, which was a decentralized form of peer-to-peer payment, which is what Casper does. So I don't want to go on another Casper rant. I've done this plenty of times on my channel, but if we look at the market cap here at 3 billion, if this was to 50x, you're talking around 150 billion in market cap. It's possible, right? But is that going to happen this cycle? Probably not, but it's certainly a possibility, so I wouldn't rule it out. I would say the most likely scenario for Casper is around that 25x range for this cycle, right? Next cycle, I think we'll see way over 100 billion in market cap for Casper. Next cycle, we could probably see Casper do 100x from here, doing a 300 billion market cap. Very, very possible, but it is early days for Casper. It's going to be a slower road for Casper due to the fact that they haven't got these VC backers. With the VC backed coins like Solana, they can pump up really, really fast because there's already loads of interest from the big money. Whereas Casper, it started off at literally zero. So it's going to be a harder road for Casper to get to the top, but I do believe it will eventually. So this cycle, I'm going for a 25x for Casper, maybe a 50x at a push, but anywhere in that range is possible. Now, I just realized I forgot one very important crypto, which is XRP. Now, I made a 2x category for a reason, because XRP, I don't even think is going to do a 3x. And that isn't me joking. That is me being crystal clear and serious in my opinion. XRP had the most bullish event in its entire history, and it failed to even make much of an impact in terms of price. It was literally a pump and dump. It went straight up and straight down. And this was very disappointing for XRP because many people on XRP called for XRP to go to $1 or $5 overnight, and it simply didn't happen. It still hasn't got to those levels that it was back in 2021 or even 2017. And this is post XRP lawsuit victory. So for me, this thing doesn't even deserve to be at 32 billion in market cap. It's extremely centralized. The insiders have pretty much the entirety of the supply. Well, not the entirety, but like half the supply pretty much. So I just don't like it. I don't think this is good for crypto. It's actually the antithesis of Bitcoin and what Satoshi stood for. So for me, this type of crypto doesn't deserve to do too well. And 2x on this would be $1.10, $1.20. I would say even that is ambitious. So maybe this will be a joke in the future and I'm completely wrong, but I do not like XRP, and I'm going to make a bold prediction and say that it's only going to do a 2x this cycle. But time will tell. I'm happy to be wrong, but definitely if you're an XRP maxi or you think this is the best thing since sliced bread, I strongly recommend that you go and check it out a bit deeper and see how deep the rabbit hole goes. and see who really controls this project. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Make sure to check out my Patreon group. This is where people are making crazy money. We got into Casper very, very early, and we also got into many other projects at extremely low market cap levels. If you're interested in joining a very active community, all with the same goal of making money, this is the place to be. We don't accept people who are going to mess around and be disrespectful to other members. It's a very serious group with one goal in mind, and that is making money. So check it out. There's only a couple slots left on that mentor tier where you can DM me personally and get instant portfolio reviews and as many as you want. But for most people, that VIP is going to sort you out with my buy and sell alerts as well as Discord access. So check out that Patreon group. I'm dropping buy alerts on a regular basis. You can see super low market cap gems that no one's really talking about over in this group. And finally, if you want to educate yourself on what cryptocurrency really is and some of the secrets about how to make money in this very dodgy and crazy space, then my video courses will be very good for you. I strongly recommend you check them out. They're both linked in the description. Crypto payments are also accepted for all of my services, my course, but also the Patreon. And if you are interested, there's an email address down below that you can contact. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.